Chrissy Teigen reminisces with adorable old videos of her son Wren and daughter Esti as infants. Chrissy Teigen is feeling nostalgic. On Wednesday, October 1st, the 39-year-old model and cookbook author posted 2 Instagram stories videos of her newborn son Wren and daughter Esti. Little Esti was wearing a red bib and sleep suit in the first film, and her mother was heard saying, "Hi, baby Esti, hi," off camera. When Teigen comforted her, "It's all fine," the child then gave a beautiful sneeze, causing her to fall off her mother's lap. In the second story, which was shot in a hospital shortly after Wren was born, Teigen is heard remarking "nice job" when a nurse burps him. She continues, "Oh my God, John, he looks just like our babies," referring to her 46-year-old singer-songwriter husband, John Legend. She mentions in her reply that little Wren was born through surrogacy. Teigen also revealed that she was expecting Esti in June 2023. The pair found out that Alexandra was expecting Wren as we crawled near the safe zone of my own pregnancy with daughter Esti, Teigen explained. She recalls talking to Alexandra about her pregnant experience, saying, "We watched Vanderpump Rules with our swelling bellies. Our family's melding into one for the past year, and we ate hot pot to celebrate." She added in a social media post about the birth, "I got to witness the most beautiful woman, my friend, our surrogate, give birth just minutes before midnight on June 19th, amid a little commotion, but with strength and pure joy and love." She continued by thanking Alexandra for Wren's amazing gift. Following the death of their son Jack at 20 weeks in September 2021, the couple welcomed their youngest children, Esti and Wren. Teigen gave a progress report on Wren, who was 22 months old at the time, back in May. He also explained why Wren was sporting a little boot on his leg. She explained in the Instagram carousel's caption, "Wren is A-OK. He's struggling to put all of his weight on this leg. So just a little boot. Thank God it wasn't a bad break. Right now, they heal so quickly, white heart smiling face with hearts," she continued. On April 14th, Teigen and Legend also shared adorable Instagram pictures to commemorate the birthday of their firstborn daughter, Luna. "At this age, our firstborn child can now bake and decorate her own cake," loudly crying face the singer of Always Come Back wrote, "Happy 9th birthday to our sweet Luna," as the caption for a picture of the 9-year-old birthday girl grinning while holding her chocolate cake. The author of Cravings, meantime, referred to Luna as the best thing I've ever made, adding tearfully, "I can't say anymore. I'll cry okay, bye." She and when Chrissy Teigen shared those fleeting moments of her children's early days, Esti sneezing in her mother's lap, Wren being gently burped by a nurse in a hospital, she was not simply posting cute throwbacks. She was creating a bridge between the immediacy of the past and the longing of the present, reminding herself and her millions of followers that life is made up of these delicate, almost imperceptible instants that pass too quickly. In many ways, nostalgia is the currency of parenthood. It is both a comfort and a quiet ache, a recognition that time only moves in one direction, and the moments we cherish most will never return in quite the same way. For parents, nostalgia is not passive. It is active memory work. Every photo saved, every short video clip replayed, every journal entry written late at night after children fall asleep is an attempt to hold on to time, to resist the erasure days that bleed into each other. Chrissy's videos of Esti and Wren echo the universal urge of parents everywhere to preserve the softness of babyhood before it hardens into independence. In the video where Esti sneezes, a moment so simple and ordinary, Chrissy's instinct to cool and reassure her with "it's all fine" becomes emblematic of how parents forever cradle their children between the fragility of the present and the anticipation of the future. What makes nostalgia so powerful, especially in Chrissy's case, is how it emerges not only from joy but also from grief. After losing Jack at 20 weeks, Chrissy has often spoken about how she holds her living children more tightly because of the shadow of that loss. Nostalgia, then, becomes not only about remembering, but also about cherishing what could have been. When she looks back at Esti as a newborn or at Wren's hospital moment, she is not simply seeing her babies. She is also, perhaps unconsciously, seeing Jack, the son who could not grow with them. For parents who have experienced loss, nostalgia always carries a double weight: joy for the children present, grief for the child absent. Nostalgia also shapes identity. For Chrissy, looking back allows her to connect her role as a mother with the woman she once was. The younger model, cookbook author, and outspoken personality who has been remade by motherhood. Parenthood, after all, does not replace identity. It reshapes it. To look at old videos is to see not only the children, but also the earlier versions of herself and John as parents, more uncertain, more tentative, still learning how to cradle fragile new life. This backward glance is also a mirror of growth, how far they've come, how much they have endured, how deeply they have loved. On a cultural level, nostalgia in parenting reflects the human desire to create continuity in a fragmented world. In a society where time feels accelerated by technology, where memories vanish into endless scrolls of feeds, Chrissy's decision to res-hair those precious moments is a way of resisting impermanence. She is saying, these moments mattered. They are worth remembering, worth pausing for, worth holding on to even as the world rushes forward. For her millions of followers, these glimpses become reminders of their own babyhood memories. Their children's first sneeze, their baby's first burp, the way tiny fingers once curled around their hands. There is also a tender paradox in nostalgia. It is rooted in the past, but it awakens us to the present. Watching Esti sneeze in an old video may remind Chrissy not just of what was, but of what is, that childhood is slipping away in real time, that each day with her children is both ordinary and extraordinary. Nostalgia, in this sense, is less about clinging to what has been lost and more about being awakened to what remains. In Chrissy's public sharing, nostalgia is communal. She could have kept these videos private, stored away on a hard drive, but by sharing them, she invites the public into her family's timeline, and in doing so, she democratizes nostalgia. Fans who have followed her through heartbreak, pregnancy struggles, and joyful announcements feel as though they too are part of this journey. Nostalgia, when shared, becomes less about one family story and more about a collective recognition. We all grow, we all age, we all lose, and we all remember. This is why nostalgia is often bittersweet. To look back is to recognize both the beauty of what was and the impossibility of returning to it. For Chrissy, this is not despairing, but grounding. Her throwbacks to Wren and Esti remind us that parenting is less about milestones and more about moments, about the small details that fade too quickly unless they are remembered. Nostalgia gives shape to love by anchoring it in memory. And in Chrissy's case, it gives her followers a chance to pause, reflect, and perhaps even revisit their own hidden treasure troves of baby videos, dusty photo albums, and cherished firsts. Resilience is one of those words that gets thrown around easily, especially in the context of celebrities. When someone in the public eye endures hardship, we often label them as resilient, as though it were a natural trait, an effortless quality that simply emerges when needed. But in reality, resilience is not automatic, nor is it simple. It is forged. It is stitched together slowly, painfully, sometimes through tears and silence rather than strength and stoicism. In Chrissy Teigen John Legend's story, resilience is not about overcoming tragedy by forgetting it. It is about carrying loss forward, about allowing grief to reshape the contours of their lives while still daring to love, to create, and to bring new life into the world. When their son Jack died at 20 weeks in September 2021, Chrissy did what few celebrities dare to do. She shared the raw reality of her pain with the world. The photos she posted from the hospital, of herself weeping, of John holding her hand, of them cradling their stillborn son, were searing, almost unbearable to look at. They broke the unwritten rules of celebrity culture, where pain is often sanitized or hidden. In making her grief public, Chrissy exposed herself to both cruelty and compassion. Some criticized her choice to share such intimate moments, but many more saw in her story a reflection of their own losses. Losses that are so often silenced, minimized, or hidden behind closed doors. Resilience, for Chrissy and John, began in that act of openness. To name loss, to show it, to honor Jack's brief existence was not weakness, but strength. It was resilience rooted in truth. This happened. It hurts. We will not pretend otherwise. That truth became the foundation for everything that followed. But resilience does not erase grief. It coexists with it. When Chrissy later welcomed Esti and Wren, she did not describe their births as a replacement for Jack, but as an expansion of love made possible by him. In her own words, she has acknowledged that every child she holds is also a reminder of the one she lost. Resilience, in this context, is not a victory march away from sorrow. It is the ability to continue loving in the presence of sorrow. This duality of joy and pain, life and loss, defines the human experience more than we often admit. For parents who have lost children, every milestone is both celebration and remembrance. Esti's sneeze, Wren's first burp, Luna's birthday cake. Each moment is precious precisely because Chrissy and John know how fragile and fleeting such moments can be. Their resilience is born not of forgetting but of remembering, of holding both joy and grief in the same embrace. On a cultural level, their openness reshaped conversations around pregnancy loss. Too often, miscarriage and stillbirth are shrouded in silence, treated as private tragedies that should not be spoken of in public. But Chrissy's decision to document her grief forced a broader recognition that these losses are not rare, and that the women and families who endure them deserve visibility, compassion, and community. In sharing her pain, Chrissy gave voice to countless others who had suffered in silence. Resilience, then, was not only personal but collective. It created a space where others could say, "Me too." Resilience also required trust. Trust in her body again after so much heartbreak. Trust in the process of surrogacy, and trusting another woman, Alexandra, to carry her child when her own body had faltered. Trust in love, that it was worth risking pain again to welcome new life. Each step was layered with uncertainty. Resilience was not the absence of fear, but the decision to move forward despite it. For John Legend, resilience meant standing beside Chrissy in grief and in hope. His music often reflects themes of love's endurance, but in this chapter of his life, those lyrics became embodied, supporting his wife through loss, then through another pregnancy, then through the surrogacy process. He exemplified a kind of quiet resilience, steady, unwavering, grounded in partnership. Their resilience was not an individual triumph, but a shared one, built together through mutual trust and commitment. What is most striking about Chrissy's resilience is how ordinary it is. Not ordinary in the sense of unremarkable, but in the sense of universal. Every family that has endured loss knows this dance between grief and renewal. Every parent who has faced heartbreak knows the courage it takes to try again, to hope again, to risk again. Chrissy and John's story resonates precisely because it mirrors what so many others have lived. Their fame magnifies it, but at its core, it is a deeply human story of resilience through heartbreak. Resilience is not a destination, but a rhythm, moments of strength, moments of collapse, moments of holding on, and moments of letting go. Chrissy's posts, whether they show her cry in the hospital or laughing at her children's small antics, are threads in a larger tapestry of resilience. They remind us that resilience is not about perfection. It is about persistence. It is about waking up each day, carrying both joy and grief, and choosing to live fully anyway. In the end, resilience through loss and renewal is less about conquering tragedy and more about expanding love. Jack's absence is permanent, but so too is his presence in their hearts. Esti and Wren are not replacements. They are additions, gifts that coexist with grief. That paradox, that love can expand even in loss, is the essence of resilience, and it is what makes Chrissy's journey, shared so vulnerably with the world, not only remarkable but profoundly relatable.